159. The Spirit of Heresy. Chalcedon Position Paper, number 205, October 1996. Concerns over heresy are unpopular in our time, and heresy trials are no longer a part of the life of the Church. Very often, when charges of heresy and moral dereliction are raised, churches rally to suppress the charges as detrimental to the life of faith. It is commonly assumed that the faith will flourish better if peace is maintained at almost any price. In the process, of course, truth is sacrificed to a false peace and harmony. In practice, there is an intolerance often greater than any other time in church history, only this time it is levelled against the defenders of orthodoxy. In the name of peace and love, the orthodox are driven out. Heresy is dissent from and antagonism to a fundamental doctrine of the Christian faith. The word heresy comes from a Greek word meaning choice. The heretic is someone who chooses for himself what he will believe, so that neither Scripture nor the councils of the early Church, nor any authority other than his own will, can determine the faith for him. Heresy is not limited to defective knowledge. The book of Acts gives us instances where the apostolic fellowship, faced with a new situation such as Gentile believers, had to study prayerfully and biblically how to deal with the matter. In the process of understanding the faith, it was necessary to confront various problems. Certainly, moral depravity, and a background saturated with it, has often warped the problem. Intellectually, men have often brought foreign baggage to the faith, as witnessed the Greco-Roman ideas that at times clouded the minds of many church fathers. Certainly, in our day, the modern mindset is not committed to understanding the faith clearly and effectively. But, most of all, our age is very severely limited by its intense addiction to personal choice. It makes no difference to many that their ideas are as ridiculous as asserting that 2 + 2 = 5, or that the moon is made of green cheese. Truth is not for them an objective reality, but it is what they think or believe. Their common attitude is, I don't care what anyone says, I think. Truth is not for them a reality beyond man, but is rather their own opinion or conclusion. Because of this perspective, heresy is very much a basic part of the modern worldview. Hegel, with his view of the development of spirit in history, the evolution of culture and man from one stage of being to another, was a major shaper of the modern mindset. Hegel's perspective shaped much more than secular philosophies. His influence on Roman Catholic and Protestant thinkers has not been given the attention it needs. In Roman Catholic circles, Hegel's spirit or Geist became in some instances the unseen force in a developing concept of tradition. In Protestant schools, Hegel provided justification for doctrinal reinterpretations in this new vein. As a result of Hegel, the demand for the location of scriptural and patristic premises gave way to the spirit of the times. Hegelianism gave the Church freedom to redefine itself again and again, and to call this redefinition progress. Increasingly, at the heart of modern heresy, there is a denial that such a thing as orthodoxy exists, or has ever existed. In earlier years, Jude verse 3 was commonly cited. Ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered to the saints. Now, the idea of a given deposit of faith, inscriptured and authoritative, is treated as evidence of ignorance and anti-intellectualism. It is held commonly that established norms did not exist in the New Testament Church, a view that would have amazed the apostles. The Pharisees had their orthodoxy, but supposedly the New Testament church did not. The Darwinian mythology requires that orthodoxy come only after a long evolution. Heresy is choice, and the heretic decides for himself in terms of personal criteria what he will believe. The spirit of our time is radically dedicated to choice on purely personal terms. As taught in state schools, values clarification means not ascertaining what truth is, but deciding for oneself in terms of a purely personal taste, what values one chooses to live by. It is not a quest for truth, but for a simply appealing, quote, lifestyle, end quote. This means that the spirit of heresy very much marks our age. This makes our task a greater one, because we go against the modern grain. It also makes our task an easier one, because this heretical viewpoint is radically bankrupt.